Okay, we have another requested topic here, and I'm excited about this one actually. It's something I've thought about many, many times. The question is, can a person be born evil? So let's take a peek, and I've often wondered this myself, but what do we get here? Our root card is the star, and the main card is the Five of Wands. Now, this is interesting because immediately this is making me think that it might be astronomical. It might have something to do with, like a fucking retrograde planet or something like that, planetary motions, or the stars being in just the right order or disorder, as is shown in the five. So let's just see what is on either side of this. The Emperor, and the reversed King of Cups. Okay, so the Emperor is control. Then we have the Five of Wands, which is chaos and sort of fighting all over the place. And then as that progresses, it turns into the reversed King of Cups. And instead of being someone who is emotionally fulfilled, like a King of Cups, the reverse King of Cups cannot become emotionally fulfilled. So I think what this is showing is someone who desires control, is very willing to fight, and cannot be emotionally fulfilled. Now, this wouldn't necessarily show evil, but a person who was like this would probably do things that we would see as evil. Now, I'm going to look just straight up like, can it be that a person's spirit is just corrupted or tainted in some way that would make them just straight up evil? And we get another emotional card here with the Four of Cups. So the Four of Cups is actually about boredom, and it's about feeling stuck in a place when you really want to be somewhere else. Now, this again would hint at something that is not necessarily corrupted or evil. It's just something that fucking feels cooped up and cannot be emotionally satisfied. So, at least here, it looks like people can certainly be born where they are destined to be disruptive, and they are destined to probably want to fight, probably want to hurt people, and there's no way they can ever be emotionally satisfied. And when we look at the root card of the star, I think that is showing some sort of astronomical um, root, you know. The star is normally like a blessing, right? Now, actually, I'm going to pull one more card on this because if we look at the spirit's journey throughout many lifetimes, maybe living as someone who is evil would be part of a greater blessing because that person would then gain a greater perspective. So I'm just going to pull a card on the star and see if like this is some sort of heavenly purpose, and we get the world. So it all really depends on how you feel about the path of the spirit throughout time. But here the world is showing completion. So it's like the spirit has to go through all of the different phases. And just like in the tarot, so all of these different energies are shown in the major arcana of the tarot. And then eventually the energy is trying to get to the world, which is the last card. And then if they manage to get through that, then kind of starts over with the Fool. But the Devil and the Tower, and like there's a bunch of energies just within the major arcana of the tarot that are at the very least disruptive, but certainly could be seen as evil. So when we look at this, I mean, the short answer is probably yes, right? Can they be born evil? What we would view in a civilized society as evil, I think so. But that is that person's spiritual journey as they try to gain the perspective of, having eventually all of the understanding and all of the perspectives. But when we look at this as far as someone being born evil, they're just born wanting to like conquer and also, projecting their will, wanting to hurt people and never being able to be emotionally fulfilled. Okay, this makes enough sense to me, I think. But one of the other questions that was kind of springing off of this, I'm going to collect these. One of the other questions was, can a baby still in the mother become possessed by a demon or by, some other fucking wicked energy? So let's take a peek at that. So a baby still in the mother, can the baby become susceptible to this sort of thing? And what we get is the Empress. So the Empress is the fertile womb. Now, I guess I'm going to put the root card down there because that might play in here. The Queen of Swords. So with the Empress being the main card, I think it could happen because the Empress is the open receiving energy, right? It's the fertile womb. So if the mother were exposed to something terrible while the baby was inside of her, then the baby would also be exposed to something terrible. So I think that answer could be yes. And the Queen of Swords here, I mean, we do have the sword dripping blood, which maybe is talking something about violence. But overall, the Queen of Swords is really about fear. So fear while the baby is in the mother's stomach could lead to this. Now, what I want to look at, so if this is the case, if the baby becomes like possessed or filled with some sort of negative energy while it's still within the mother, is that corrupting their spirit? Or is that just like some shit that they're going to have to deal with throughout time? And again, we get a reversed cups card. It's the Queen this time. So, would it corrupt their spirit? And this is going to lead to another question that I'm going to have to ask. But this mirrors the other thing with the reverse King of Cups enough. So it would probably corrupt their spirit for this incarnation, but probably not for all incarnations, right? So after they have the experience where they cannot be emotionally satisfied and they're more or less what we would consider to be evil, then they wouldn't have to go through that experience again. Okay, I'm going to ask the question now. Basically, if someone has like what we would call an evil spirit, if that's the part of their journey that they're on, so if they're born this way, can it just be because they have a corrupted or shitty person's spirit and that's just the way it is? Like they're born evil because they're coming in from a previous life where they are like that. And once again, we get the world. So I think it depends. So this is talking about the spirit's great journey to go through all of the different things. And as far as can they take evil energy into a new life from a previous life, I think the world is saying that could happen, especially if they didn't fucking learn anything from their previous life. Then they might come in with all of that shit that is just unprocessed, and maybe they have to do it again. Interesting. What I want to look at now is, let's say there is a person who comes into this world in this fashion. So, and I think I've known a couple people that were like this. From the time that they were kids, there was something fucking wrong with them, right? And they're the kind of people that would like torture animals and stuff when they were kids. So let's just see if there's anything that a person like that could do to change things, or if they're just doomed to go through this life in whatever brand of suffering it is to be like that. Is there anything a person like that could do? So the moon is talking about manipulation, and the Five of Pentacles is just showing being massively judged and exiled. So when we look at this, now it's interesting because in the moon, you have all of the clothes over the people because they're hiding their actual truth. And in the five, the person is exposed. And here, this judging eyeball can see all of them, right? And when you can see all of them, they get exiled. So it looks like there are two things that a person who is this way could do. They could either play the game and like pretend to be like everybody else, or they could be fucking exiled, right? And which would also say that whatever is happening with their spirit in this incarnation, they couldn't really change it. There's nothing they could really do about that, which is fascinating. Okay, here's the question. Is there anything that we can do to help a person like this? Or should we just fucking avoid them at all costs, which has so far been my method? But is there anything that we could do? And the Seven of Cups is showing artistic expression. So this would say probably nothing directly, right? But maybe you could inspire them, or I don't know, maybe create a scene where they're not a total evil shitbag, create some sort of art or something, make a fucking voodoo doll that isn't a twisted evil goblin or something. But this would also say directly, probably not too much. Well, that is what we have for now. And if there is something that you would like to see a reading on, then subscribe to the Patreon and send me the request through there, and I will do it. Thank you, and peace. Is this the end of days where lava fill the base? I'm gonna grab some tarot cards, let's see what they say. Who controls the press? Was Will Smith possessed? Let's shuffle up the cards and we'll see. And what about the freaking aliens? Whatever could they be? Let's ask the cards and see. Come on to my Patreon.